Hi there, it's Polly here. So, just wanted to reminisce about some gamer friends and myself. Yeah, getting stuck in the wilderness. My friend Malcolm billed himself as a genius. Yeah. Um, this guy used to work for the Border Gas and Explosives and so on, and he did this in New Zealand as well as Australia. One of the jobs that they got to do in New Zealand was go up into alpine kind of ski country because they actually have real snow there, and they have to sort of get rid of the heavy overhangs of snow that can over a season build up and be potential avalanche material. And literally, they've got an old army like 60 mil mortar, and they would essentially um, lob bombs onto the top of the things and bust that stuff down. They've had a cabin in this area. They're going to be operating here for about a week, and they've sent in an order to the department, and the same department handled bulk orders for a group of different things, including police dogs. More of this later. So these guys, they turn up, they go out. It's cold, it's miserable. They're starting to do the job, and just the weather really banks in, and it just howled. It just absolutely howled. Complete blizzard, snow falling everywhere. It's like, oh, this is pointless. Anything we do, we'll just have to redo when this is over. But also, they can't get back down the road. It's now sort of 7 foot deep in snow, and it's going to be worse. So they managed to sort of fight their way back into the cavern, and it's like, oh, well, we're stuck here for the long haul by the looks of it. This is really settling in. We're going to have to let this blow out over however many days it takes. And then we've got to kind of ask for a snowplow or something to come and clear the road so we can get the Land Rovers back out here somehow. But that's okay because the department had delivered stocks of food to the cabin, and they opened it up. Yeah, they got the stuff that was meant for the dog training school. They 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 have about 300 cans of dog food. So yes, Malcolm and co got to spend a interesting, I think it was 6 solid days, living on dog food. Do 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 do. Yes, he said the favorite was the solid type. Because you could at least slice it into something reminiscent of burger patties and fry it. The stew type is like the mind just rebelled, just said, "No, it's dog food." But so my friend Damien and I, when we are happy teenagers together. Now, what I hadn't realised was that this friend of mine, he came from a very rich family, and he sort of had a dark half that he hid very, very well from us. His mother wanted Damien to hang out with me because I'm the bright, happy kind of gamer, and when we're together, we do cool gamer stuff, and he's not out there doing, some of the dark kind of drugs and crime stuff that he would otherwise do. But an important thing to her was when school holidays here in Australia, we have like a couple. We usually have like used to be like 2 week holidays in the middle of the year, and then there's a long one through the summer over Christmas. So she really wanted him occupied during that 7 week Christmas break. Otherwise, she knew bad things would happen. So get it together with me, and she would find places, and she would just hire a cabin and kind of it's the 70s. She would just sling us out there, no adult supervision, but just somewhere in the middle of absolutely nowhere. But one of these went pretty badly because, again, she sent us up to the snow. I was on the East Coast at that stage, which has snow. No snow here in the West. I haven't seen that stuff in 30 years. But so we get up, and she has decided to kind of lay in supplies as if there is a party going to happen. So she's kind of, oh, you'll be there for a few weeks. So she's kind of laid in, first off, stuff that's going to take a while is not going to go off. Dried stuff. So there's dried rice, okay, and there's lots of dried pasta and so on. And she's arranged for a delivery of, other stuff, pasta sauces and stuff for the fridge to arrive. Fair enough. But hey, you kids can have a party up there. And for some reason, what she ordered was several like pillowcase-sized bags of candied peanuts. And there's peanuts, and you'll often smell them at fairs and things, like peanuts that they then kind of toss around in a sort of a caramelized sugar mix, and they coat them over and over and over until they got like a hard candy layer about them, and it's kind of a weird apocalyptic orange color. This is usually only seen on the undersides of Israeli jets, or on the occasional bridge, that color. But she's got like four or five of these damn pillowcases of these things, huge sacks of these things stored in the place. Well, again, we're up there, and we were supposed to be like, skiing. Damien had been raised in France, so he could ski, and I could ski a little bit because I was kind of just one of those people who can. But again, the weather really set in. Right, all right, well, we didn't have a car because we, like 15. But we could normally walk down into the town to get food. But now it's really snowy, and holy crap, this has gone like 6 feet. Okay, but that's okay, because Damien's mum has laid in the food. And we open the cupboards, and it's like, okay, so there's dry spaghetti, and there's dry rice, and she's got dry beans, and she's got like dried lentils, and all the dry stuff is in there. But there's nothing to cook it in. There's no pots, saucepans, tubs, improvisable empty cans or tins, not even a tin bucket that we could somehow use. There's a stove, all right, but there's just no cutlery. So unless you want to like grab a handful of dried spaghetti, I don't know, maybe we could put it in the sink with a plug-in and try soaking it. That's right, we don't need that stuff. We don't need that. We've got the peanuts. And so we're 15 and we're stupid. So we just sat there, and for the next, I think 3 or 4 days, we just ate these peanuts. Morning, noon and night, candied peanuts by the hand. Which, again, 14 or 15, that sounds perfectly okay. After 3 days, we were so sick. Just so ill, because it was just like pure sugar with, the little fat kernel in the middle of it, and it was just unspeakable stuff. We did get out of there alive, but I couldn't stand the scent or taste of peanuts for decades afterwards. Not even the smell of like peanut butter on a sandwich. And to this day, I think if I go past one of those kind of fairground, hey, let's fry up candy peanuts. Hey, would you like some peanuts? Get back, go away from me, Satan. Yeah, unspeakable. Damien's mother sent us down to a place called 90 Mile Beach. It's called 90 Mile Beach because it's a single beach that's 90 miles long, and we're just in an area where there was just nothing. Way down one end of this thing, there is a little town which we could walk to from this cabin that she's hired. It took about 2 hours to walk there, just through kind of dry bushland. And then when you got there, there was nothing. There was like a little combined sort of petrol station, general store, and there was like an old hardware store and maybe 2 kind of private houses some distance off, but the store was basically closed. Whatever was happening here, we missed it. Hey, it's the beach. But, okay, we had one game with us because she thought we should do outdoorsy things, so she wanted to limit the war games. Okay, well, I always have a couple on me, and one of those was the Traveller board game, The Fifth Frontier War. Now, The Fifth Frontier War is a big, expansive kind of hex war game where you fight the epic struggle between the Imperium and the Zardani, and on the side of it, it's got playing time of like 6 to 8 hours or something. Well, we're in this place for like 3 or 4 weeks, and there was nothing else to do. you could go down the beach, which was blank. There's no one else there, not a single living soul. We're the only house or cabin within that 2-hour walking distance. Just blank, a massive empty. No one else is on the beach, no boats in the distance, no footprints in the sand to show there's another human being. Just okay, so play Fifth Frontier War. I think we got that game down to something like about 90 minutes, 2 hours each, because after about the 10th go, it's like chess masters. Attempting the Eastern Gambit, I see. Well, I refuse that, my friend, and I'm attempting the old Spinward Holdback. It just got absurd. We began making our own variants on it. We started inventing our own games. But then one day, there's footprints on the beach. There's hoof marks. What? Wait, that, my friend, that is a horse poo. And then we heard a noise. We come running out, and 2 girls, our own age, riding on horses along the beach. So, stop, please, stop. Say something, anything. We haven't seen another human being in 3 weeks. Stop. They just rode on. And so, yes, we got silly. There were some buckets and spades. So what we did was, right, we're going to make sure these girls stop and speak to us. Okay, we dug the trench. A trench running from the water all the way back to where the beach becomes dunes, and this, I'm talking serious siege work there. We got into this thing, and this thing was deeper, way deeper than we were tall, and it must have been 12 foot wide, and we just piled the spoil up on either side to make these giant walls and everything. And then we took leaves and things and laid it across sections as if we were clumsily trying to disguise the whole thing, and then had dug a separate trench to hide in. And as these girls came riding along, we very visibly jump into the trench and no, the buggers didn't stop. They rode physically into the water to go around. Says, right, I see. So we then sculpted the spoil. We made the whole thing into essentially 17th, 18th century fortifications. We did bastions, we did demi-lunes, we put in the old covered way. We've got the whole Star Trace citadel behind there. We've dug ditches, scarps, counter scarps. We put little sticks of cannons and all this thing. We basically made the entire fortress of Lille appear across the beach. Taking little bits of paper, little flags, the whole thing, and just sculpted this thing into this ridiculous. We take little twigs, we put fake miniature forest out in front of this whole thing. Next time the girls come past, well, now it's a 18th century wonderland. They still go past. All right, fair enough. They're tedious. Yes, so we ended up essentially sculpting our own ridiculous. Massive wargaming scape on this beach and conducting wargames on it. We divided it into squares and conducted sieges and had some fun. My God, we were bored, but at least there were no orange peanuts. Anyway, times of weird boredom. Ding! Bye!